This is Governor Bobber. I like Good Day Doctors.
George Allen here. Good day, doctors.
I think I need to slow down the opening a little bit. I think you barely noticed that Spiro Agnew's in the opening.
Just a little bit.
I was trying to go for a different effect, like a bunch of flipping through a bunch of kind of like a flip book type thing. But so, anyways, it is Friday, December 2nd, 2022. 2022 is almost in the can. For some of us, we'll be glad to see 2022 go. Some will be disappointed to see 2022 go.
How many more episodes of Dr. Politics? We got 4 more after this? Are you doing
4 more after this in our annual Ready Award show, which is probably going to be the 16th.
Okay.
The week after the convention, where we give out our awards for the best and worst.
How do I submit nominations?
I will send you a link. There's actually, I thought I put that link in the group chat, but
I probably do have it.
It's basically, evidently since Google no longer does surveys anymore, we had to use a MailChimp account.
Oh, really?
Or SurveyMonkey, yeah. And when are they going to cancel SurveyMonkey and MailChimp, by the way? You know now monkeypox is now mpox.
It's true. They'll have to change it to mail.
As you know, they can't use mail either. They're going to be something else. They're going to call it something
true. They
else.
might confuse it with MALE.
I know. Well, back when I was at Maryland, the women's studies, they'd spell woman with a Y.
Where? Where did they put the Y?
They put the Y instead of E. They put a Y there. Never mind, it doesn't fit. But yeah, they just did a Y.
I don't get it.
I don't either, but it's better not to argue with some of those fembos.
It's true.
You know the ones I'm talking about. You were at Maryland College Park. You know exactly the crowd I'm talking about. Hey, did they still have the, what do you call it, in the basement by the bowling alley, the co-op with all the funny smells down there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know now they've gotten rid of the arcade also that used to be upstairs.
The student union is completely different.
Yeah, it is. It is very different. I like how they cut a hole into the cafeteria so you can see down.
Yeah, I liked I like sitting up on the second floor part of it. That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had one floor and we enjoyed it, Jason, in my days.
Yeah, the current version of the student union is the only version I know.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because
that's right. I keep forgetting how I keep. Yeah, are you even 25 yet? I mean, I'm trying. Nope. So, anyways, busy week this week. We had a lot of things. It's still. I don't think we have all of our election results in quite yet. We're still waiting, and we got the special election in Georgia coming up. What are your thoughts? I think Herschel Walker might be able to pull it through. I think he might be able to do it through. And then if we can convince Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin to become Republicans, then we'd control both chambers at that point. But that's just a dream right now.
If Herschel Walker wins, we're back at 50-50, right?
Yeah.
So
that's kind of an important thing. At this point, that's the Republicans' best hope for now, because that means they have to divide the committee assignments, and the Democrats don't get full control over the committees. So it's really important there. But it's gonna. I mean, there's 1.5 million votes have already been cast, which tends to say that most likely the Democrats probably have been voting more heavily on that. Republicans will tend to vote on election day more heavily, but. Yep. We don't really know how this is going to turn out. I mean, there were 80,000 votes in the general that went to the independent, to the other candidate, but there's no guarantee that those votes get redistributed to Herschel.
I understand CNN is hiring a expert in counting. They flew the count in all the way from Sesame Street, so he's going to be on Tuesday night. He's going to teach him how to count.
Oh, I,
You know,
I, I was, I
That's a
was
good
waiting
one,
for your
Dwight.
video.
I've
Your
heard that
little.
one. That's good.
I don't have it queued up. Otherwise, I would have done the
Sorry.
video. But
I'm so disappointed in you.
I know. But if you think about it, maybe CNN would get see more ratings if they did actually have the fly the count in from Sesame Street. Can you imagine him on their election night at the podium? Talking to what is it? Who's there still?
Well, that's part of the problem. I mean, that's kind of interesting that you even mentioned CNN because I mean, they just announced a round of layoffs. They're firing a bunch of their paid contributors and things like that. And headline news, what's left of headline news, is
Is
now
that
going to
still
be.
on? I thought they phased out
Yeah,
headline
they had
news.
done a few different things with it, and they have still had some shows on it. But my read on this now is that it's basically going to be kind of a simulcast of the regular CNN. So they're trying to do whatever they can to save money. Their ratings, are still really bad. Fox easily dominates, and it's kind of a jockeying between CNN and MSNBC, depending upon whether or not you're looking at total viewership or the A25 to 54 demographic, which is the advertiser demographic, and all these kinds of things. But CNN is just they're not able to really generate much any interest. But I don't know if you've seen Don Lemon on the morning show, but every time I see him, I'm thinking like, does he look more androgynous these days or something? It's weird. It's like, what
Yeah.
happened to this guy?
And by the way, every time I hear Don Lemon, I think of Metalork Lemon. I'm like, boy, I bet Metalork's really disappointed in his son there.
Yeah, it's. I think there was something. Maybe it was in the Journal, or whatever. It said, Lemon had left his show at like 9 p.m. to join the morning. He didn't leave the 9 o'clock hour or whatever voluntarily. CNN. I mean, Chris Lick basically revamped things and pretty much is like, well, probably can't get rid of the gay black guy, so what we'll do is we'll stick him in the morning. But now Lemon's a part of a team of three, right? And
Mhm.
it's news and kind of entertainment, and so Lemon doesn't really get a chance to go out
To
and
pontificate.
be the all out liberal type of thing like that before he's been kind of muted in that way, which is part of CNN's goal. The new management team, they didn't want it to be an advocacy network. They basically are giving up on trying to compete with Fox and MSNBC and try to restyle themselves and rebuild themselves. But for
Hmm.
us old folk, Dwight, you know, we go back to the beginnings of CNN. CNN was not a hyper partisan network
No, I mean,
even
what's it, Bernard
even with
Shaw?
Ted Turner running it, there was actually a lot of fairness going on that network
Yeah,
before it became liberal.
I mean, Bernie Shaw would be a right wing kook according to CNN today. I think what the point they went south was Operation Tailwind, where because remember their guy in Baghdad during the first Gulf War. I believe this would be way before your time, Jason. There was a Gulf War before the second Gulf War.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Desert Storm, Desert Shield. CNN had the only reporter in Baghdad when the bombs were coming down, and then he was also involved in fake news with Operation Tail.
We're talking about Baghdad Bob or
No,
Baghdad Pete.
we're talking about the CNN guy,
Was that what
Peter
I mean?
Arnett.
Peter Arnett. Yeah. Do we call him Baghdad Pete then too? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
he
think we
was like
nicknamed him.
the guy. He was their guy, and he was actually pretty good. And then like I don't know what happened. Then he got embedded, and then he just started making up stuff like him and Geraldo were making crap up during the second Gulf War.
Yeah, but that's what happened to a lot of journalism, though, right? I mean, they people found themselves that it was they could fake news and nobody was checking them. We didn't have the huge internet databases and all these fact checking outfits, whether even though they're mostly liberal these days, out there to do that. And these guys got away with lots of lies for a
Yeah,
long time before they finally got exposed.
our guy, what's his name? Thank you, Robin. But if you think about it, a lot of these guys, I think that's really when the media went. I mean, our friend Joe Golden, wasn't that his big thing? Was the Operation Tailwind, the CNN's false
He went.
reporting?
I mean, he went after. I mean, the thing that
That
he.
in TWA.
Yeah, when the thing he originally went after was the New York Times, uh, and those guys and the coverage in Nicaragua and everything like that. So it brought him to our attention. But yeah, he followed a lot of other things over the years too before he retired.
All right, did you get the? Did you get the? Speaking of our old friends from AIM, did you get the last postcard that was sent out?
Yeah.
It's come a long ways from the old postcards that AIM used to do. Let me just saying that,
Well, I
and
mean,
so on.
they're under the belief that that's the better way to spend their money. It's one of the reasons that I'm not there and that there's no more newsletter after 50 years and things like that. Um, and they've tried to move into education, but they're also trying to make themselves, as kind of a second version of you know James O'Keefe's thing, the Project Veritas.
And this is just my thoughts. In this day and age of fake news, why are they not? Why do they want to get away from being a media watchdog and focus on education and the fringe stuff? I mean, your dad would have a field day with everything that's going on these days.
Well, the thing is, my major complaint, I mean, is just that they basically, because of this new leadership, is that they moved away from the mainstream, media. They barely ever cover the legacy media. These guys that are out there that have got the big audiences. They go after Vox and BuzzFeed and all these other things, the online news outlets that don't have much in the way of readership, because the thinking there is that that's where the people are. But I'm not sure. I don't based on my last conversation, with them a few months ago, is that it seemed that if they were having financial issues or their fundraising to slow down, is that really wasn't solving their problem.
No, I mean, and honestly, they really, I think Dan Flynn was the last one that actually used to do real media and stuff like that. I've not, I don't think I've seen an AIM person on media anywhere since Dan Flynn,
Well,
frankly.
the guy, this Adam Gillette, I mean, he has been on, but I mean, he hadn't they haven't been able to get him to like the Fox News appearances since he initially had a few things on Laura Ingraham, but I don't think he's had anything for a long time. And so he's been kind of relegated to Newsmax as really kind of their biggest thing. And who watches Newsmax?
That's like going to the old NET. Your dad had a show on NET. No
Yeah.
offense, John Gizzy. I do enjoy.
Where's the audience?
I know. Well, but anyways, perhaps they need some regime change at AIM. I don't know. Just saying. I'm not saying
Yeah,
anything,
I
but
mean, there's no love lost there. I mean, I don't think they treated me fairly, at the end. So it's,
well,
they're not going to get
let's be
any.
blunt. I mean, Frank Howard, who thought he was God's gift to Republican politics in Montgomery County and the state of Maryland, for that matter. What has he done at AIM? He's been there over a year now. Nothing's changed, Their
Yeah,
website looks really bad. It's not that great. They don't have. They should be doing more. Like Jerry Cave would do a much better job running AIM than Frank Howard.
it would get a lot of the MAGA people involved.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Whether or not that's a good thing these days.
But also, Jason, did you know we're almost at 1 year to the Russians' little picnic war that we're going to have in the Ukraine?
I saw on the show notes that I can't believe it. When did it start? Was it February?
It was in
Last February, right after the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because Vlad likes to watch the Super Bowl, and he didn't want to invade before the Super Bowl, so he did it right after the Super Bowl.
I feel like it's become such a background story. Like I don't like when it first, the first 3 or 4 months, it was like, the number one thing, at the top of the hour on the news, and then now I feel like I hear about it every once in a while, and that's about it. and people
Yeah,
kind of pontificating whether we should give them
I
more
think
money
you're
or
right. I
not.
mean, after we're over 9 months into this thing, so I think that was bound to happen. It's
Yeah.
become a slog, Putin. I mean, the story really winds up being these days. And I don't think the media necessarily wants to get into it too much. It's just that Putin has had a total failure, but we're not really hearing too much of that out of the media. I mean, this is a total quagmire for Putin, and he doesn't have an exit strategy on this. They're running out of munitions. The
Mhm.
people have revolted to a certain extent of when they try to do that civilian call up and bring in people who have zero military training, to fight and things like that. So it's an absolute disaster, and they're headed into winter, and that's not gonna affect anybody really. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the poor Ukrainians. I mean, now they're just trying to get power. But
Mhm.
I guess one of the weaknesses that we're seeing right now is that Ukraine could use some air missile defense because that's what Russia's just bombing a bunch of places now,
Mhm.
knocking out power.
That's true. And I think we're going to see the Germans fold and kind of start buying, like making nice with Vlad. I think, if the Germans had just started firing up their coal plants and their nuclear plants last spring, when they knew this was coming, they wouldn't be in this problem they're in right now, where they're praying for a mild winter.
So your thing here is that because of the energy issue, that you
Yep.
think that Germany could possibly fold because they need the gas, the natural gas.
Yeah, and it's not like would it be nice if we built in Dundalk a natural gas plant? Because that was actually on the books back during when Governor Ehrlich was governor. That was actually that's what they're going to do with the old Bethlehem Steel plant location over in Sparrows Point. They were going to put a liquefied natural gas plant there where ships could pull in. You load them up with natural gas and ship them around the world. I think that would have been great. If we were exporting oil still, like we were when Trump was in the White House, this thing could be a little different right now. The situation in Europe, we could supply them with oil. Now we're making deal with despots in Venezuela for oil. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that situation is nuts though, isn't it, Dwight? I mean we're now going back to this
Mm.
dictator, this bad guy, and in essence going to help prop him up. I mean, where's the incentive for him to say we're going to negotiate and have really a free and open election and let the opposition have a voice and anything like that. If they're going to if we're going to be able to start pumping oil and doing things now, one of the things though, I mean, this is still that that kind of that message from Biden, in a sense, trying to solve this problem. The thing is that it has been shut down for so long with our interests that even with Chevron going to be the first one to be able to to start back up again,
Hmm.
they're owed a lot of money, which I think they would like to collect first, and it would take them quite a while actually to gear back up again.
Yep.
So the amount of production, the amount of oil they're going to actually be able to put back into the system is pretty minimal right now. I mean, but it's typical of Biden and the Democrats to kind of say like, this is how we help solve this and how we help bring down gas prices. But it's going to be a blip on the radar for quite a while before anything really happens there. But I hate the idea that we're basically saying, okay, we know you're a bad guy and you oppress people and you're corrupt and everything like that, but we want to do business with you again.
And by the way, let me just say, if John Dulles was running the CIA today, we'd be back. Venezuela would be back to being a democracy. Frankly, you know, the CIA today is a pale imitation of what they were. They're not even the old CIA under Ben Casey or Bill Casey. You know,
Ben Casey
the,
wasn't that a doctor on TV?
yeah, yeah. That's. I think was it even like on Marcus Welby MD Ben Casey?
Could have been.
You know,
Once again, more references before Jason's time.
yes. I don't know, Jason. You remember Marcus Welby MD? Robert Young.
Come
Fathers
on.
Know Best.
Do you know how long ago that show aired?
Well, it was like the 70s, right? Like the mid 70s. It was like I would say it was like a Saturday night show, like Trapper John MD or something.
maybe
Flew into.
maybe when Jason's parents were first getting married.
Yeah, mid 70s. That's yeah.
No, actually, that's even before your mom's time. Actually,
Yeah, my parents were born in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah,
So no. So,
just keep making me feel older and older.
I tell you, we all when Governor Ehrlich mentioned how Drew is now he's 20 some years old, and everyone's like, he was born when they were governor.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how much time.
Actually,
passes.
Josh. Actually, yeah.
I would say Drew
But-
Ehrlich almost. I think we were in high school at the same time at one point. So
Did you guys? Did you go to the same high school or?
no, I mean he because he played football for Broadneck and I played football for Southern, so that was why.
Okay.
Your glory days.
Oh, the glory days are ahead of everyone, as I said.
Right.
Just like America, our better days are ahead of us, not behind us. I think one of the like right now, everybody seems to and I keep telling people, don't be so sad, don't be a gloomy Gus, frankly, as Betty White's character Rose Nyland would say on the Golden Girls. You do know that show, right? Golden Girls. That's kind of one of your yeah.
Well, I think there are enough repeats of that one that you even this generation.
I think
can notice.
they can figure out Golden Girls.
Yeah. I tell you, the most speaking of just regressing a little bit back to great television, The Nanny was very underrated for the time. I've been watching the reruns, and it's actually a pretty good show. And they have a lot of throwbacks to the old I Love Lucy's episodes, and that's probably also before your time. You were so young. Even The Nanny is before your time.
The only reason I know The Nanny is because when I was a kid, it would come on Nick at Night. That's why I know The Nanny.
I tell you, there was this kid. He used to be the YR president in Montgomery County, Andy Freund.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned how Everybody Loves Raven is on TV Land. He goes, wait, I know that show. I feel so old now. That a show that I watched in its original runs is now on TV Land. But TV Land is not what it used to be either, by the way. I wish they'd go back to what they used to be. Do they even have Nick at Night anymore? Is that even a thing?
Yeah, they do, but now the shows are like
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
No, like not. I don't even think that's on there anymore. It's like shows that you wouldn't even consider old. You wouldn't even consider them old, and you would be
like 2.5 Men on.
Yeah, like that.
That's on TV Land too. You know that they've got and one of the things I liked about TV Land when it first came out
what's on Nick at Night now, Dwight? Friends.
What's? Oh, jeez.
Friends and Seinfeld.
That is a horrible show. Why did anybody like that show? It was a bunch of losers who didn't have, half of them had jobs and the other half didn't have jobs, and they were whining about not having jobs. When the other half would want to go to dinner at someplace nice, they'd all whine about it.
Pretty nice apartment in New York.
That is true. How do they afford that?
That show, like a lot of others, has become kind of a cultural touchstone. So it's remarkable how popular that show is.
I thought How I Met Your Mother was a much better show about New York lifestyle because they were all professionals on the show. They can afford to live large, frankly.
I never watched that.
Yeah, I don't think
that's it. You really should watch it. It really is a great show. It is hilariously funny. I never watched it in its first run. When I went to Austin, I was waiting for something, and had the television that was on, and I go, this is interesting. Maybe I need to give it a chance. And that's But anyways, back to the issues at hand. Enough about classic television.
This is our usual
the
meandering.
Yeah, actually, Jason, do you remember the original Transformers at all, or?
Yes, but only because my dad watched it as a kid.
And the GoBots? What about the GoBots? You don't even know what the GoBots are.
It was really just the original run of Transformers. Yeah. I had a like a DVD collection of like all the old shows, and then I had some of the original toys that got passed down.
They're worth a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And then there's Dwight's
I'm shocked.
favorite cartoon, Dwight. Isn't your favorite cartoon Captain Planet and the Planeteers?
Oh, jeez. That's when I kind of saw. Cartoons have gone too far. They've gone woke.
Wasn't that like a Ted Turner creation? Or
Yes,
something?
it was a Ted Turner creation. And what's funny is that one of the villains was played by Ed Asner, Mary Tyler Moore's boss. There was a show called Mary Tyler Moore about a liberal reporter. She basically divorced Rob Petrie and moved to Minnesota. Actually, that's not true. Was her name Mary Petrie on the show too, or no?
No, I'm pretty sure that wasn't it.
Or she was Mary Richards on the show, I think.
Yeah, Mary Richards. That's it.
But yeah. But actually, the reason I think that's part of the reason they yes, I remember some they were doing some retrospective one. Or was it no? It was there was an article when Mary Tyler Moore show hit its 20 years since it's been on the air, and they were talking about how they originally were going to call her name was going to be that she was going to be a divorcee from New York, and they go, no, people would think that she left Dick Van Dyke, you know. From anyways, but yeah, those are you missed the great days of television before it went woke.
Yeah, now it's all streaming services, Dwight.
Yeah, I mean, all
you
you would have liked.
Popular shows.
Pretty much all I watch is streaming services.
You would have liked All in the Family, Jason. They could never make that show ever again today. That and the Jeffersons. I don't even think they could do good.
I was waiting for
again.
the Jeffersons to come up. It's been
those are some of my favorite shows.
I haven't even been on the show in a while, and I feel like the Jeffersons comes up like pretty often.
A lot.
Pretty often.
Hey, so is your grandmother watching tonight because you're back on the show?
Oh, I don't know. She usually watches it when I don't do it.
That is true. That is true.
I'm pretty sure she thinks Don is a real doctor. Oh, I think both of you are real doctors. I don't know.
Does she think you're a real doctor too?
There's somebody she thinks is a real doctor.
Well,
I'll say it's Jeff. Jeff is out of town.
Medical stuff.
She thinks.
He's
well, Jeff did play.
Hospital.
Jeff was Doctor Strange for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
You know, when he took his daughter out trick or treating, he went out as Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme.
That's good. What were you as Halloween, Dwight? A liberal?
No, I was actually a Republican handing out big candies, but when I knew the liberal,
oh, that's right. Yeah, you had the king size candy bars.
But you know what's funny? It's like when I knew liberal kids were coming over, I gave them the small ones, you know. And
how do you know which kid is liberal?
Well, I see I see the parents with them, and I know that. I know
you
the
look
parents
like a liberal. You're getting a small piece.
Well, I know the parents from schools and stuff like that because I also know the ones that have Democrat yard signs. You know,
definitely a lot of reconnaissance and.
Nah, I just
There's a lot of Oppo research in Dwight's neighborhood.
No, it's not even that, Don. It's just I have a photographic memory. I know that I associate the houses with the people with the signs. It's kind of like the way I used to use cars that people drove as, hey, I know them. They're the people that drive the Buicks, you know, or whatever. And that's how, that's how we find out who the liberals are and the conservative kids.
You know, Dwight, this conversation, speaking of Halloween and giving out king-size candy bars, you got to give us a Black Friday review. It's the first episode since Black Friday.
That is true. Let me tell you, I found out I can never be a member of Congress. I set a budget of $7,500 to spend on Black Friday. You know, and I did kick it up because of Biden inflation. You know, last year was only $5,000, but I am so disappointed. I only spent like $4,200 or something like that for Black Friday. There's nothing really out there.
I don't even know what to spend the money on if I had the money to spend. I mean,
well, here's the thing. You know, they say Black Friday sales were good, but here's the thing. I don't need a new TV, although I am tempted about that 80-inch TV deal with that the big screen store has. 85-inch Samsung and you get a 65-inch Samsung too for like $15.99 or something like that, which I think is a really good deal if you want an 80-inch television. But
That's like the one good time of year to buy a new TV is Black Friday. It's when
See, I don't have the room here in the family room because that way the kitchen is the kitchen and the dining, and on the other side you have the dining area. So if I made this all, if I could take the walls out, but they're load bearing walls, and made it totally open, I could do it justify putting in an 85-inch TV. So, but my house in Florida, I do have a 72-inch at my house in Florida though.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, I did not see anything really. I mean, if you're in the market for a laptop, there's some really good deals on i9 laptops. There's an Asus laptop at Micro Center for like $1,800, a really good buy. It's a one generation old i9 processor, but it is an i9 processor. There's also really good deals if you on iPhones. There's some really good deals if you want to get an iPhone 14 Pro Max. I need to take mine out of the box. I might do that Christmas week when things slow down. Um, and then there's really good deals on depending on what you want to buy. There's like really good deal on electronics like iPads, iPad Pros. Really good deals at Micro Center. What do you call it? If you're looking for one of those fancy KitchenAid mixers, Costco's has a really good deal on those. If you're looking for what's that stuff? They had really good deals on what is it? They do the little you put them in your car and it's basically supposed to. They're like floor mats, but they're better than floor mats because they go right to the edges. Yeah, they had a good deal on WeatherTech. If you need that, I say I take the car in for a detail to worry about that. They had really good deals on candies, and I did a lot of my.
You should have bought some king size candy now, stored it for next year when it's time to give them out at Halloween.
1 second, Jason. Let me show you something.
If you're going to bring candy, you better save it. You better bring it to the convention next weekend.
Actually, I probably will do that. This is one of many boxes I bought. I was expecting a lot more kids.
You should bring that. You should bring that, and then we can put Dwight for third vice chair, like stick him on there.
Yeah, great idea.
And then if you put
I've got
him
like
on
6
the
boxes.
registration table, I don't think I would do anything about it.
Yeah, I got 6 boxes of it. And what do you call it? Dirk might have issues with that.
You can put them on the table next to the registration table. How about that?
Yeah, or it's like we could give them to the credentialing table where you get your credentials and you get a candy. It's like when you check in at the DoubleTree, you get a cookie. Right. By the way, does DoubleTree still do those cookies? Because I do like those cookies.
Yes. The last time we had a convention there, which was forever ago, they had.
I know. Yes, depending on who the new chair is.
I was saying that might be in our future.
Yeah. I tell you, one thing I did like about that is the sweets are pretty good.
I like that it is in Annapolis, and I only have to drive 20 minutes, give or take.
Yeah. And also, the parking's great. They got a lot of nice restaurants. Also, the other thing I want to do is, why are we giving people box lunches? I say we do 2 hours for lunch and let people go out and have their lunch.
I like that idea because I always talk to Corinne, and convention's always so expensive. You know what? I think people should buy their own damn lunch.
I do too. Or we do a fancier sit down lunch like we used to do, and that's when they used to do the awards actually years ago.
Yeah, but then if you do a fancy sit down lunch, then we probably have to charge more, and then people will complain.
No, it's an add-on. It's like when you buy a car, it's like the undercoating. You pay for the undercoating. Yeah, it's an extra charge.
You pay the $40 to have the sit-down lunch.
Yeah, but those things have gotten expensive, and it's really time consuming to serve the food and take it away and do all that stuff. So you lose a lot of time with the served meal.
Especially when we're in Ocean City, we need 2 hours for lunch. Because to get in your car and get to
go get some Thrasher's fries and then come back.
Right.
That still takes time. Remember that? Were you at the convention when we were right on the boardwalk? We were at the Grand.
No, that was before I was even started. I think I remember hearing about it though.
Yeah, that's right. It was Adam was there. Adam and Patrick were.
Patrick.
Yeah, but Corinne was there because she was on the committee from Anne Arundel. But
I think that was Corinne's first convention, and that would have been 4 or 5 months before I got on the Central Committee, so I wouldn't have gone.
and then we had a convention over at the Holiday Inn, which had a really good Italian restaurant. We went there for lunch. Chris Rosenthal took
I know where that Holiday Inn is, and I know where I think I've been to the Italian restaurant that's there too. Which
and that's
is
actually
good.
a really
It's always
inexpensive
crowded.
Holiday Inn. It's also inexpensive. That Holiday Inn is probably one of the cheaper places to stay.
I bet.
And
I'm a proponent of going back down to
Rocky Gap.
what I've never been to is the hotel that's down in southern Calvert County.
Oh, I heard somebody told me that's now a retirement home. The Solomons, the Holiday Inn is now
Is it really?
this. Yeah, somebody
I
told me
thought
about that.
I drove down there not long ago, and I thought I saw it. I thought it was still there. It didn't look
Somebody-
like it had a
because I
big
asked them-
conference room, but
They do, and
from the outside.
that was that's actually they had a pretty big conference. That's where we did the 2012 convention there.
And
where
I'd like us
we-
to return to Rocky Gap one day. That was actually not a very expensive place to do it.
Yeah, and it was nice. It was an easy drive, But I think we definitely should be in Ocean City all the time in the spring, frankly.
All the time.
And do we really need to wait for session to end, frankly? We get there and,
When do we do it? May? I mean, we could do it right after session. You could do it right in April. But the thing
We
is
used to do
about
it-
doing
we-
it then is
we-
that the weather is never good.
well, I mean, look at the weather this year. It wasn't that good this year either. Well, you
Right.
weren't there.
Yeah,
It
but
was
every time I've ever gone to Ocean City in May, the weather is always crap. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It
The day we
rains,
drove,
Cold.
the day we
Even
drove
worse
down,
is
it
going
was,
to Ocean City in like January or February. I've done that before too, and there's nothing to do.
is that for one of the Lincoln Day dinners out on the shore?
No, I just went for some reason when I was younger.
Mhm.
Nothing was going on.
Oh yeah, I remember. We went there for the Wacomica County dinner, and that was like in October.
Hmm.
And I want to say I took Chris along to drive for me, and Chris wanted to go to the boardwalk. I'm like, "There's nothing there. Everything was closed."
Yeah,
And
everything's closed up.
He goes, "We go to Hooters down there." I'm like, "They're not open." They're not open. He goes, "No, they'll be open. I mean, it's on boardwalk. They're not going to be open."
Yeah, if it's on the boardwalk, it will.
And the other one wasn't even open either.
All right, so I had to look. Dwight, I just want to say, I had to look this up because about that Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was sold in February of this year
Uh-huh.
for $15.1 million.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah, and so it says that the seller and buyer to work together, transform the 10 acres into a new hotel with a separate senior housing community.
Oh,
So it's now called. It's been rebranded as the Solomons Inn Resort and Marina.
Oh, okay.
oh,
So it's no longer a Holiday Inn. It's Solomon's
Yeah.
Inn now.
20,000 square feet of space. Full service restaurant, junior Olympic sized swimming pool, tennis courts, fitness center.
well, there you go, Dwight.
And they're going to redevelop. They're going to redevelop it starting in early 2023. So there we
There we
go.
go, our spring convention.
Fair Vice Chair Dwight's gonna have to lobby to get us down.
I'm going to put my foot down. We're going to definitely do more oceans. If I am third vice chair, we will be in Ocean City. I don't care if we're there in October. We're going to be in Ocean City at least once a year.
Dwight doesn't care if he's in Ocean City and everybody else is somewhere else, and you get to zoom in.
The one and only convention city, Ocean City. That's it.
No,
End
the
of
reason
discussion.
Look at it. The way I look at it, Ocean City. Not most people don't get. I'm paraphrasing a member of our committee who once said, "Well, not everyone gets to go to a country club. This way, they get to see what the inside of a country club looks like." Hey, not everybody gets to go to Ocean City. At least they have a reason to go to Ocean City,
Yeah.
And I mean, Ocean City, the tchotchke promotional things I can come up with for Ocean City are so much more better to do than Annapolis. For Annapolis, what can they do? Maryland flag, the Capitol Dome. You know,
Yeah, I agree with you on that one because I don't. The casino, I mean, you got a poker chip and you could do like a slot machine or something, but that kind of
yeah.
wears itself out.
I mean, if I tell you, if we had a big convention hotel by the airport, I could do little airplanes. That would be kind of cool to do.
I mean, technically, Maryland Live's pretty close, so
Yeah. Didn't we used to do the convention at the Hilton or something like that, or the Sheraton out there?
it would have been way before me. Not that I remember ever hearing.
Oh, Chris Anderson, what's up? Not much, Chris. What's up with you guys? We're just talking about conventions and stuff right now. If you tuned in, but I tell you, going back to politics a little bit, is that the politics we are seeing. One thing I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're seeing a lot of people that are very more on the fringe than ever before that are members of central committees. I could be wrong. I know. Same here, Chris. I hope I've got your vote. You know, but I think we got a lot more fringe people that don't understand the process of how things work, and they think they do, and they don't seem. A lot of them like to throw out, this is unconstitutional.
Yeah, it takes a while to learn how the inner workings of the party and all that stuff goes. I mean, when I first got on such committee, I had no idea what it was.
I mean, LCD voting takes a while to get used to.
Right. I still barely understand that. I mean, when I first started, I thought Central Committee was a very important thing.
Oh boy.
But yeah, and the LCD voting's crazy. I'm a little upset because Anne Arundel's going to go from like the third strongest like vote per member. I think we're going to drop to like 6 or 7.
Wow, that means Montgomery County is going to be dropping to like 23, 22.
Yeah, probably. It'll probably be pretty bad.
Hey, no wonder they're only setting.
I
They're
think
only setting
Montgomery
6
County's
people.
always last because there's so many members.
Yeah, and they, first of all, let me apologize for my members of my county who bitch and whine about being sat in the back of the room. When we were in
It's
college,
hard to find room for 40-some people.
But here's the thing, Jason. When we were in college, did you want to be the kid sitting in the front row, or would you rather be in the back row?
I had to sit in the front row because I couldn't see the board if I didn't sit in the front row.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to
But
sit
if
in
you
the
did,
front
if that
row.
wasn't an issue, you would have sat in the back, right?
Depends. Did I want an A? If I wanted an A, probably not.
I sat in the back and I got A's. It's like even in high school, I always loved sitting in the back of the class because high school back of class, you get to throw
It
these.
could be
lobbies.
worse. I mean, there's some times where I think like Caroline County and there's another county where we usually don't have very many people come, so I have to like jam 3 counties like at one table of 8.
Yeah, I think it's like Caroline, Somerset, and Kent.
Yeah, Kent's one of them. Just because they don't have a lot of people to begin with on the committee, and then if only 1 or 2 register, there's no point in giving them their own table.
Yeah, and I think it's like people. It's like you're in the back row. We have this modern invention called the microphone. You can hear just fine in the back of the row.
And at live, you have those huge screens. The thing is, I sit in the front, and like my neck starts to hurt because I'm more the person sitting right there, but I'm looking up at the screen instead.
But you sit with us at the tech table, so you really
No, I usually sit with my.
Do you? Oh, that's right. You do. You sit with your county. Yeah, you don't. You don't sit with the tech committee.
But
you're gonna sit. Well, you are a member of the tech committee, so you can sit with us.
True. Yeah.
And this is gonna be. It's gonna be a fun convention. I've got some videos I'm working on for the convention.
That's good. You know what? You know what you need to bring back, Dwight, as
What's
third
that?
vice chair, hospitality suites.
Yes. Why are we doing them? I know. Well, Maryland Live, I think they don't allow them, is what I've been told.
Yeah, I don't know. I just tell Corinne it's because she's not any fun.
But
She doesn't care for that assessment. But
well, then you also have other people that say there's too much drinking. That happens. That's what I was. That's why when the club had a suite, we did it with the BRC. There was no booze in our suite because people didn't want booze
Well,
there.
that's like how like people on central committees like make friends with the other counties. If all it is a business meeting, we don't you know
Yeah.
there's no
Let me tell you,
nothing.
long time ago, Montgomery County was hated by everyone. And then Dwight got on the committee in 2011, and we did our charm offensive, and so we did hospitalities at every convention, and we made friends.
Yeah, I
They
bet.
love us on
If
they
you offer
love us
free
on the
food
shore.
and free drink, why would you not make friends?
Yeah, especially when we
That
did the top
that should be
shelf stuff. We
pretty.
did Johnny Walker, we did Johnny Walker Black, we did Bailey's, we did all sorts of fun stuff. One year we did ice cream and karaoke in the suite, and we also had like a bunch of liquor to go with the ice cream and stuff like that. I've got video of Nate Volke rapping.
Oh yeah,
I'll share that with you if you want to see it. I'll send it to you.
you should, and then I can make fun of him when I see him at the convention.
And then I also got Jerry Walker rapping at the convention.
That's interesting.
That was actually the same convention where Nate. Then Nate did a. Then when we had the convention in Ocean City, we had Nate did a song, but he just did a normal song. He didn't do any rapping, And I think he did. I think he did that because he didn't want me to record him doing it, doing a rap. But we've had some fun conventions. We did karaoke before anyone else. We did. We always would do pizza. Actually, we did pizza, ice cream, and top shelf booze.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have the Happening Suite. Now James Ashburn has that. Has taken that title away from us.
I've never gone up there. He did give me his card a week ago and said text the number for the suite.
He's doing a suite in his own room. He was telling about that. But I tell you, one of them. Then we'll get back to issues at hand. But
Yeah, I think at 7:50 we have how many there's about 12 topics we didn't do, so we'll have to wrap it.
We'll just do a lightning round. No, but I mean, one of the things, the conventions are a lot of fun. Everybody should go. I think I think a lot of Central Committee members, they need to meet we should do a Central Committee member exchange program where you go visit another county Central Committee and hang out with them for a day. And so on. I mean, I know for folks in my county I want to send them all to the Eastern Shore because they'll be all culture shocked.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I'd want to. You can send your enemies over to Anne Arundel County, I guess.
No, I mean your county's so your county's a bourgeois county. It's the bourgeois counties are Montgomery County, Anne Arundel, Howard.
All the central counties.
Yeah, Baltimore County. Yeah.
We'll send our people up to Garrett. You send yours to the Eastern Shore. We'll send ours up to Garrett County.
Garrett isn't Garrett kind of bourgeois now?
No.
Or is that Washington that's more bourgeois?
Yeah, Washington. I'd go. Washington's a little bit more built up. They have Hagerstown,
By the way, before I go back to politics, I just want to say, Chris Tomlinson, awesome speaker. He spoke at our club meeting last night.
Oh yeah, how about that? How was that?
Did good. He did really well. Yeah, he did very well, and it's like I think he will really enjoy being a legislator in Annapolis.
Is he the first former doctor to get a?
Yes, he is. He's the first doctor to get elected. We got some high. I tell you, I want to get him on the show when he's a delegate, like on a Friday night, because Friday nights is when they do their parties and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but anyways, back to politics at hand. Don, what do we have? What other stuff do we have to talk about tonight?
One of your favorite countries, China, and their lockdown and the protests.
Yeah,
I know. It's like they well say about that.
I think it's funny that Joe Biden. Let me tell you, it's a good thing Ronald Reagan was president when we had Solidarity and Lech Walesa and Václav Havel and in Czechoslovakia, and now you have Joe Biden. well, we think everybody has the right to free speech all over the world, except in America on Twitter, because we're gonna keep an eye on Twitter, and we're gonna crack down on Twitter in America. And we have no problems with Apple shutting down apps so these protesters can communicate better. Shame on you, Apple. It really there is a it's like I'm almost tempted to go to Android, but I won't. But I am tempted. You know, what are your thoughts, Jason?
The only thing I've seen on China is which is another topic we can get to. I saw a TikTok, which I'm surprised they allowed it on there. It was some video, and like they had like this whole like squad of people in like hazmat suits, and they were just going around on the street just spraying people with who knows what. Lysol, I don't know, but it was it looked like something out of a dystopian, TV show or something you would watch. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the situation over there. I mean, you had that apartment. They would quarantine people in these apartment buildings or whatever. Then they sealed the door shut, the exit door shut, and they had that apartment fire, and people couldn't get out, and several people died. And that kind of became the fuse, for people to say enough is enough. I mean, China's not a small country. They are pretty ruthless about holding the people down. But
I remember Tiananmen Square. That was like the day before high school graduation for me in 1989.
yeah,
And speaking of Tiananmen, Xing Zemin has gone over to the great beyond. And I will say it in tradition, he's probably turning about a little toasty brown about now. Xing Zemin, the butcher of Tiananmen Square.
yeah, and I mean one of the problems for China, I think, though, is just that this very strict lockdown policy that they've had, no one gets a chance to build up any immunity. So
Yep.
I don't see how they solve the problem by locking people down. We've gone through a lot. I mean, we went through a kind of a lockdown.
They covered the World Cup with a 30-second delay so the Chinese people cannot see the rest of the world maskless.
Yeah, really, I know. It's like you can't see the maskless fans because that would not send the right signal to your people. It would make your government look bad that actually people around the world are not wearing masks.
Yeah.
They're gathering in large crowds and they're generally fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what are people being hospitalized for nowadays? I mean, the RSV and the flu, and and COVID's down the list a little bit on that. So which also goes back, I think, too, where a lot of people thought that it was remarkable how we just had this tremendous surge in COVID in the past, but then the flu was like non-existent. The flu didn't just go away. Classification, how they do it, made all the difference in the world.
Yep. And I think it's just really funny how, I don't know what do you guys remember the second Gulf War? We had freedom toast, freedom fries, freedom doors, and we became a very anti-French country during those days. We had the access of weasels, but we're still pro-China in America right now. We are not, we're not calling we're not like banning Chinese restaurants and stuff like that. We're not being critical of the Chinese as a nation as we were of the French. And the French have more freedoms than the Chicoms do, frankly. I think it's time we isolate.
Well, if you're trying to get me on board banning Chinese restaurants, I'm gonna have to disagree.
No, remember we stopped calling French fries French fries. Garrett Sater and I, when we were at Rocky Calf, we had freedom toast in the breakfast buffet, and I go, Garrett, Garrett's like, I love French toast. I go, you mean freedom toast? And he goes, yes, that's right.
That's funny.
I'm not a fan of Chinese food, but then again, that's because there's not enough bread and cheese in it.
There must be a version of Chinese pizza for you somewhere, right?
Well, there's a version of Indian pizza. My friend Aaron Rodgers went to Utah on vacation, and this is like when I think he was becoming a vegetarian, and he was a very special kind of vegetarian. If he shot something, he'd eat it, but he wasn't going to go and buy meat at the store and eat that, right? But he found an Indian restaurant in Utah that had pizza.
Interesting.
I know. There's
I
actually a
don't know if
place in college.
I don't know if I've ever had Indian food.
Oh yes, you did. Didn't you come to one of my? Didn't you come with us to an Indian restaurant once?
I don't think so.
Because that's like it's funny. Marcus'
Only
birthday
restaurants I've ever
was
been to over in Montgomery County, they were all pizza restaurants.
chain
Gee, I wonder
restaurants.
why.
Well, it's funny. It's like we were taking Marcus out last week for his birthday. He wanted to go to an Indian place. I'm like, really? Another Indian restaurant, Marcus? Thank God that Indian restaurant shuts down at 2:00, and we were going to meet at 1:30. So we had to go. We went to the Rock Bottom across the street, which has regular food, normal food, as I would say. But my view on Indian food is awesome. My complaint on Indian foods is it's good or it's really bad. Like the one place we took Josephine for her birthday, that was actually really good Indian food. And the place was packed.
With a lot of Indians.
Yeah, I know a lot of native people. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, wow, I haven't seen this many Indians.
That was always my father's thing, is just go to a Chinese restaurant. If you see a lot of Chinese, then you think, they must know, so it's probably going to be okay if you haven't been there before. Look
But I'll
for
tell you, Jason,
look for the native.
We should definitely do another pizza event at Pasquale's at some point in the springtime.
Okay, that's Corinne's neck of the woods.
Yeah.
They have good pizza though.
They've got very good pizza. I usually never box it, but the last time we did it there,
Yeah. Oh, I was going to come to that, and then I got sucked into.
you're probably doing something for Jessica.
Yeah, she had an event that night, the same night.
Yeah.
That was actually a good event that I went to. I would have picked that one over the pizza. Sorry.
Oh, was that the crab feast or whatever?
It was like a lobster thing, and it was at somebody's
Did you have
house.
Maine lobster? Did they have Maine lobster there?
I don't know if it was for Maine, but it was lobster, and it was good. I'm sure it was for Maine, but they had lobster bisque. I never had lobster bisque, but it was delicious.
Lobster bisque is good. That's good stuff.
Oh no. By the way, I must say, this president has got the tinnest of tin ears. Him and his liberal friends want to cancel Maine lobsters because there's some whale that might get tangled up in the wires. By the way, there's never been a whale spotted in that bay where the lobster fishermen are fishing for lobsters. But yet the environmentalists, you notice the environmentalists never pick on Star-Kissed tuna. And they're like, they used to catch dolphins and put the dolphin meat in with their tuna. It could be because Nancy Pelosi's family has some business dealings with Star-Kissed tuna. I don't know, just saying,
Well, I feel like at this rate, Nancy Pelosi or her husband owns stock in pretty much every major company.
Oh yeah. And I think it's really a shame. And let me just repeat a quote from one of the greatest presidents we've had in recent memory, President Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon said, "Americans have a right to know if the president's a crook." I believe that we do have a right to know if the president's a crook. But why isn't anybody asking? I mean, there was a certain congressman from Maryland who was a Republican who had to go up against President Nixon. And you'd think that same, they would, in the same vein, would want to know if Joe Biden's a crook. But they're silent on that one, But hey, so
I'm not sure how crooked Joe Biden is. I think he's got other problems. I'm just trying to remember.
Spiro
where
Agnew
he
never
is.
would have done what Joe Biden did as vice president, frankly. He never would have given his son a job making $12,000 a month, or was it $20,000 a month or something like that.
I think it was even up to 50, maybe.
Yeah, because you know what Spiro would have done? Spiro said, "Sorry, Rich, I got to take this job. It's more important." There's a story about Spiro Agnew did not attend a fundraiser that was for him because he had to go teach a class at Baltimore Law School, and he goes, he told Ray Kroll, I get $80 a night. This is when he was a county executive. He goes, I get paid $80 a night for teaching. And Ray goes, will you come if I give you the $80 that you're going to lose out on? So Ray had to pay him $80 to go to his own fundraiser. And yeah, see, that's why I know Spiro Agnew has got more ethics and integrity than Joe Biden. Yeah, listen, take down those notes, you liberals watching. But anyways, it's also happening this week. I think the railroad strike's been averted. So, and I think it's like what? Okay, they're talking about paid. Here we go. Don, how many paid sick days did you give yourself when you were named? Did you get paid sick days? I don't think so. I think we just had personal days, right?
No, you could take one sick day a month.
Oh, okay. Because what I've got for me and my people, we get 15 personal days. It could be a sick day, it could be a vacation day, it could be whatever. It makes it so much easier. That way people can take mental. Jason, how many sick days do you get working for MDGOP?
0.
There you go. You come to work sick.
Exactly.
That's how it was like at CPAC, by the way. When I worked for ACU CPAC, it was like that too. And back in those days, we worked 9-hour days, got paid for 8. Yeah, so
we're past the hour
let's
mark.
let's just do final thoughts. Jason, you do your final thoughts, then you can jump off.
My only final thoughts are, if anybody's watching this, and they should come to our convention next week. I think it'll be a fun time. If you're a voting member, you should vote for the guy who's above my head.
That's true. Don's actually older than me, David.
I know. I saw that comment and I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, Sam's a little far away.
I was gonna say, I know Sam can't make it. Sam's having fun. And
yeah, he's in Arizona, I think, right? Yeah. But go ahead and finish your final thoughts.
That's it. That's my final thought.
Okay.
I don't have much to talk about.
Okay. Don, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. So, I mean, congratulations to the U.S. men's national team for beating Iran and moving on to the knockout round. They may get knocked out by the Netherlands on Saturday, but there's always hope. Never know. This has been a pretty wild World Cup, and I'm not a big soccer fan, but anything to root on Team USA, I think that's great. But the great thing about that whole thing with the Iranians was just that Iranian fans, a majority of them, were actually rooting for America. They're basically protesting the government and their treatment of women after the death of that young woman in police custody. So that was kind of an unusual type of a thing there, where you're playing country and what in essence really is a home team compared to us, where the fans were actually rooting for our side over their side. So good for them on that. So saw that Kanye, or Ye, who had been reinstated on Twitter, is now gone from Twitter because he posted about liking Hitler and stuff like that. So even Mr. Free Speech Elon Musk has a limit apparently about how that's going to be. And I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of nonplussed about all these people who've been banned returning to Twitter. I don't use it that much. And if a bunch of liberals are going to leave Twitter, as they said they were going to, which I think only a handful probably will in the end.
It's like those liberals who say they're going to leave America if a Republican is elected.
Right.
Promises,
exactly.
promises.
They make this thing. I think Alyssa Milano, I think she said she was leaving Twitter, and then she decided she shouldn't leave Twitter or something like that, and stuff. So the media complains about Twitter in terms of Musk. They don't like a lot of his new policies and things that he's done since he took over. But the media is probably part of the backbone of Twitter. They love Twitter, so they're not going to move to Mastodon or something else that's a little bit different.
Truth Social, they could go to Truth Social.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is that with Elon owning Twitter and then reinstating all these accounts, I mean, True Social's really gone nowhere. How much do you really need that? And yay, I mean, he had agreed to buy Parler, but that, they've terminated that agreement. Um, how many of these things do you really need out there in the end?
And you still have Gab.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those things that to me are just a bunch of echo chambers, and they don't really serve. They don't really give you much of a dialogue. I mean, I've got one guy who trolls me all the time on my Twitter account, but even when I criticize the Republicans, he thinks that's great. Um, and knowing that I'm not this rah Trump guy, he keeps trying to accuse me of being. But it's it'll be interesting going forward to seeing how our politics turn out. I mean, we've got the big runoff coming in Georgia. We talked about that earlier, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I think the House is fairly set, Dwight. Though, I mean, I think the Republicans are going to come out with 222. So it's not a very big majority, nowhere near what they thought they were going to do. But the bigger question is, can Kevin McCarthy hold it together to win the speakership? And I think the Republicans will do themselves. They're not going to do themselves any good by protesting, by making a lot of fuss about McCarthy. I don't necessarily think he's the best guy, but he's the guy they probably need at this point in time. And if they want to replace him later, that's fine. And you can see where the Democrats are getting, a younger liberal leadership now. Something they've been clamoring for a long time. So we'll see.
Is he going to be their Gorbachev? They're like the Soviet. Yeah, they're like the Soviet Politburo for years. Are they? Is this guy now their Gorbachev?
Yeah, and didn't Hakeem have something to say about election results or whatever? Wasn't he kind of a denier himself? And
yes,
but it's okay for the Democrats to elect those people, right? Republicans can't.
Hakeem, when I think, there was a see you, Jason.
See you, Jason. Yeah, my last thing is just that SCOTUS has agreed to hear the loan forgiveness deal, for Biden. So the administration thinks that's what they wanted, but I just don't see how they're going to how the Supreme Court will rule in the Biden administration's favor. There's nothing that shows that what he's done is constitutional. He claimed, he's using the pandemic as part of the reason for doing this, but he already said a few months ago that the pandemic is over. In the meantime, he's also been extending the loan repayment. The pause is going on until what time? When? Next June or something like that? Some crazy deadline. So I don't know. I mean, this administration is just a mess.
So. I don't know if you've been watching Abbott Elementary School this year. Thanksgiving Day, they redid their premiere episode where this guy, I forget the name of the character, the black woman who's the teacher, she had some breakup and she was out of money because she was paying a lot for her Philadelphia apartment and stuff like that. And one of the guys goes, "Oh, I just gave her the money out to put towards student loans. I gave that to her to pay for her apartment." And he goes, "President Joey B is going to cancel my student loans anyways any day now." I do like that show because it is so really realistic. I think
it won a lot. I think it won a lot of awards or something, right? Or nominated for.
I tell you, it does highlight. It basically plays up every stereotype we have about schools and how corrupt and how the administration is. And it does play that up, which I like that portion of it.
All right, I'm done.
You're done. Okay, my final thoughts are a couple things. One. Come to the Montgomery County Republic Club's Christmas party this weekend. We've got a lot of guests coming from all over the great state of Maryland. We got a couple of really big surprise guests that are going to show up and say hello. We've got it'll be from 1 to 3 in Kensington, Maryland, over at the Waterford in the Penthouse. Come on down. Come all. We're going to have a lot of fun, and it's a free event, but we ask you to bring an unwrapped toy or $20 for the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots Drive. Do not make checks out to the Montgomery County Republican Club. Do not make checks out to Republicans. Make the checks out to U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots campaign. And that's what we need, because it is the Christmas time. And I tell you, this year everything just seems to be running really fast together. We went from elections to this, to this, to this. It's like crazy. And then next week we got the state party convention coming up, and we've got, my campaign, for third vice chairman. But other final thoughts I have is one, it is if you've done some Christmas shopping, you will notice that the price of everything is up. I was over at Costco's and I was buying. I like to buy the tins of cookies to give out, Don. And there's this French. They used to come in a metal tin. This year, those cookies are in a cardboard box. And I'm like, I'm not buying that. And it costs more in the cardboard box than it did in the tins. And I'm like, the tins I would have justified paying for these, but not, So I'm sending burger cookies to folks from a lovely bakery in downtown Baltimore.
Good for you.
And another thing, final thoughts is best deals on electronics are yet to come. I think next weekend you're going to start seeing a lot of good deals. That will be just as good or maybe slightly better than Black Friday deals on televisions, computers, laptops, accessories, PDAs. Actually, do you even have PDAs now? Or iPhones have become the new PDAs, frankly. But good deals on that. And don't forget to buy batteries for those toys and gifts, because batteries are not included, in many gifts. And you want to have a set of fresh batteries. And Costco's just got a really good deal on batteries right now. You can buy Duracell batteries there. And that's about it. That's all I've got. Next week we'll be off because we'll be at the convention. Maybe we'll do a best of show. But the following week we've got our annual awards show where we give out our awards to the best and worst Republicans in the state of Maryland and around the country. And we've got a few new categories in there this year. So tune in for part 1, which is going to be Friday the 16th, I believe, is the date. Oh, I hate this new Windows where it's harder to pull up the calendar. Anyways, it's a week from this, 2 weeks from this Friday. It is part 1 of our award show. So thank you, everyone. Take care and good night. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks.